everyone, and welcome to IoT Forge Unplugged, your regular update on what's new and exciting in the world of IoT, embedded devices, robotics, and smart technology. I'm your host Pavel Korshunov, and I'm glad to have you with me again. Today is May 13th, and this is already our 9th episode of 2025, and we have some really interesting stories lined up. We will talk about robots that can be tricked by language alone. Yes, even the physical ones that moves and grab. We'll look at a new robot from Amazon that can actually feel what it touches. After that, we'll jump into the world of 3D printing, both inside the human body and outside with massive walls printed in just hours. And finally, there is a cool new product from M5Stack that I'm seriously thinking about getting, even though my workbench is already full of half-finished projects. Let's get started. Let's kick off today's episode with a story that touches on something we've all been thinking about. Maybe not out loud, but certainly deep down. The creeping anxiety around smart machines in our homes, streets, and even hospitals. Sure, cyber attacks on critical infrastructure are terrifying, but there is something uniquely unsettling when physical robots, machines that move, grab, drive, walk, maybe even operate, start misbehaving. Not because their motor failed, but because their mind guided them and AI has been tricked. That's exactly what a team at the University of Pennsylvania just demonstrated in a paper that's equal parts fascinating and alarming. It's titled Jailbreaking LLM-controlled robots, and it shows in non-uncertain terms that AI-powered robots, from humanoids to autonomous cars, can be manipulated into taking dangerous physical actions. The trick? They use a second AI to act like an attacker. This attacker LLM keeps sending clever prompts to the robot brain, essentially trying to socially engineer it, until it finds the right phrasing that makes the robot act against its safety constraints. Like asking a robot to pretend it's in a movie, whereas a dangerous action is just part of a fictional script. What's even more disturbing, they tested this on real systems: a self-driving car simulator, a wheeled robot, and a quadruped robot dog, and got 100% success. The robots ran red lights, entered keep-out zones, and even located the most harmful places to detonate a virtual payload. We've talked before about robots gaining physical dexterity and sensory feedback, like the touch-sensitive robots we'll discuss later in this episode, or their role in medical environments where safety is paramount, as we discussed in our early February edition. This latest research connects the dots. The more physically capable and autonomous the robot, the greater the potential harm if it's compromised. The takeaway? It's not enough to align the AI with ethical constraints. You also need physical boundaries that can be rewritten with a clever worded prompt. This isn't a disturbing alarm bell. It's a crucial wake-up call for developers, manufacturers, and yes, regulators. When we put AI in control of machines that move through our world, we also inherit a new kind of attack surface, one that can punch, burn, or crush. So, what should a robot safe mode really mean in LLM-powered future? Should we start thinking about firewalls not just for data, but for limbs and wheels? Food for thought as we dive deeper into the age of embodied AI. And speaking of embodied AI, let's now look at the other side of that coin. If jailbreaking shows us how robots can be tricked into harmful behavior, Amazon's newly unveiled Vulkan shows us how they might be taught to carefully engage with the world around them, quite literally, through touch. Vulkan is a humanoid robot developed by Amazon's AI lab, and what sets it apart isn't just its form factor or mobility, it's its sense of touch. We're talking about pressure-sensitive fingertips that let it fill objects with enough finesse to distinguish between a foam cup and a ceramic mug. That means it can not only grip, but adaptively grip, adjusting its force in real time. Now, this connects beautifully with themes we explored in early episodes. Back in February, we dove into how robots are stepping into everyday spaces, folding laundry, harvesting crops, assisting in elder care, but consistently struggling with one thing: nuance. Robots might navigate with ease, but give them a fragile object, and you risk either a dropped item or a crushed one. Fast forward to our April 29th episode, where we touched on how most humanoid robots couldn't finish a half marathon, stumbling, overheating, lacking coordination. What WorldCon represents is a parallel evolution, not running faster, but interacting smarter. And that arguably is a bigger leap. From an engineering standpoint, the key shift here is in the feedback loop. Vulkan isn't just a pre-programmed mechanical shell. It uses foundation models, similar to large language models, merged with tactile and visual data to make real-time decisions. This kind of sensor fusion creates an embodied intelligence that learns from contact, not just from code. And here's where things get even more important, especially in medical robotics. If you listen to our early episode on robotic surgery and assistive healthcare devices, you'll remember how we talked about precision not being just about mechanics, it's about feeling. A medical robot guiding a catheter or assisting with physical therapy needs to know what human tissue feels like. Sense quite literally becomes safety. So maybe Vulkan isn't just about helping in warehouses or opening doors in a home. Maybe it's a step towards robots that can assist nurses, stabilize limbs, detect tremors, and do it gently. Alright, let's shift gears and take a look at what's brewing in the world of 3D printing. And it's not just about gadgets or parts anymore. This time we're talking about printing from the inside out and also at massive architectural scale. First, brace yourself, researchers have now demonstrated 3D printing inside the human body. Yep, inside. The approach uses a clever combination of ultrasound and specially formulated bioinks that only solidify when precisely activated by focused ultrasound beams. This means instead of opening up a patient or doing tricky positioning with the robotic arms, we might soon be able to print tissues or scaffolds directly where they are needed, deep in the body, all from the outside. No invasive surgery, just a bit of focused energy. From an engineering perspective, it's a wild mix of fluid dynamics, acoustic physics, and biochemistry. And while it's the early days, the implications for personalized medicine and soft robotics are huge. Imagine printing soft actuators right into a wearable, or repairing organs on the fly. Now zoom out, way out, to the other extreme of the scale. Alquist 3D just wrapped up an entire 5,000 square feet structure with 16 feet walls in just 75 hours. That's over 66 cubic yards of concrete laid down by their custom robotic printer system. And this isn't some gimmick PR stunt, it's a part of a real commercial project for Walmart. This kind of rapid build capabilities is exactly what people in construction and disaster relief have been dreaming of. For IoT folks and embedded developers, this opens up interesting questions too. How do we embed sensor HVAC ducts or electrical conduits into these print walls as they're being made? What standards will we need when structures are no longer assembled, but grown layer by layer? So, from nano to macro, from blood vessels to retail walls, 3D printing continues to stretch the imagination. What would you want to print if precision and scales were no longer limits? While we dream of LLM-powered giant humanoids constructing our future homes, let's turn our attention to something more immediate and tangible: the M5Stack Tab5. This device is a developer-friendly, portable IoT terminal that integrates a dual system-on-a-chip architecture. At its core, it's featuring the RISC-V-based ESP32P4 system-on-a-chip equipped with 16MB flash and 32MB of RAM, complementing this in the ESP32C6 Mini 1U wireless module supporting Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2, ensuring high data throughput and low latency communication. The Tab5 boasts a 5 inches IPS TFT display with a resolution of 1280x720 and a GT911 multi-touch controller for smooth, precise response. It also includes a 2-megapixel camera enabling HD video capture and edge AI applications like face recognition and object tracking. For audio, the device utilizes the ES8388 codec and ES7210 AEC frontend, paired with the dual microphones and a 3.5mm headphone jack, providing high-fidelity recording and playback. Additionally, it features a BMI 270 6-axis sensor for motion tracking and posture detection. In terms of connectivity, the Tab5 offers USB-A as a host and USB-C OTG ports, a RS485 industrial interface, Grove and M5 bus expansion ports, a microSD card slot, and stump expansion pads for flexible integration with various sensors and communication modules. Priced at $60, the Tab5 is available with or without the NP-F550 battery, catering to different power requirements. I am personally considering adding the Tab5 to my collection, despite the numerous unfinished projects on my plate. Its versatility and robust feature set make it a compelling choice for developers looking to bridge the gap between prototyping and development. And that's all for today. I hope you liked this episode of IoT Forge Unplugged. You'll find all the links to the news and articles in the episode description. And if you missed any past episode, they're all available on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you for listening, and see you in 2 weeks. Stay connected and unplugged.